of people have asked me about the history of David Lawrence Rare Coins, how I got involved in the company, and how the company has evolved over the years. So I thought I'd take a couple minutes today and explain a little bit of it, and I'll tell you about our rich history. We were founded officially in 1979 in southern Florida, in the Hollywood, Florida area. Although we moved, my father and my family and I moved here in 1980 to Virginia Beach. So we've been here most of the history of the company. My father was a coin collector his entire life, starting in the early 1940s. He collected coins that he picked up at the subway booths on his route to school and things like that. He was always fascinated with coinage, and he was a collector in the truest sense all the way back until that day. About the early 1970s, as he was a teacher going through advanced schooling for his PhD, he also, as a hobbyist, collected coins, but also found that he quickly ran out of money to assemble coins, so he had to sell some of his prized possessions just to keep the collection evolving. He and I would travel to all the local coin shows. I remember specifically going to the Hialeah Coin Club with him on I think the first Monday of every month sort of thing, and I had exposure to coins even at the age of 4 and 5 years old. And I was going with him to these mall shows every Sunday in South Florida, and we would literally set up folding tables in shopping malls. You pay $10 and you could become a coin dealer. So about 1978, 79, we had business cards made up, and we were setting up at these shows regularly. And then we moved, like I said, a year later to Virginia Beach and kind of set up shop more formally. And at that time, what that meant was we would publish ads in the trades like Coin World and Coin Age, advertising for our monthly mail order list. And my father originally would just scrawl out a price list of the barber coinage that he had for sale. That was his specialty. He knew more about barbers than anybody, and he even later wrote books on the coins. And he would invite people to send for a mailing list, and we expanded from barber dimes, quarters, and half dollars into buffalo nickels and Indian pennies. And those were our special areas, and we knew a lot about them. And we had a better inventory than many people in the circulated grades. We slowly built up a mailing list, and in this era, there were only coin shows and mail order. There wasn't the internet yet at this time, and so my father built up a nice business working part-time from his bedroom, really, and at the shows. And I was busy going to junior high and high school, and other than the weekends, I wasn't very involved in the business. I graduated college in 1990, and that was a time of a transition for the company as well. In 1986, if I back up slightly, was the advent of third-party coin grading services. Companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, were both founded in 86 and 87. And while this is now considered to be a revolution, at the time, we didn't all see it that way. We just thought, all right, there's something else going on in the coin industry where there's third-party grading and encapsulation of coins. But people like my father, who was an old-fashioned coin dealer and didn't see the value of adding $25 and $30 to the cost of his coins to sell, didn't embrace third-party grading at first. When I graduated college in 1990, it was still another year before I joined him full-time. I started going to national coin shows with him. At the same time, I was developing a business on the side where I did marketing. Desktop publishing was a big thing, the emerging trend at the time, the early Apple and the laser writer and things like that. And I made a nice living helping coin dealers publish price lists, including my father. So some of these early lists, I have one here from April 1991. This is an example of some early publishing that I did for him while I was also soliciting marketing materials from other coin dealers and frankly anybody locally that I could do business with. At that time, I pushed my father into what I thought was the next big trend in the coin business, which was this third-party grading. He was resistant. He really loved being able to handle the coins and grade them, but I thought, I said, Dad, this is where it's all going. This is where, if we computerize your coin business, we have to be able to track the coins better, and also your growing customer base and things like that. And I thought, this third-party grading really is going to be the future. I see where the more sophisticated collectors are coming this way, and we actually tussled about that kind of thing a lot in those early days, but we slowly, he liked my fresh dynamic that I brought to the company, and I certainly respected his numismatic knowledge. So the two of us worked together, and in 1992 I joined him full time, and in fact it was just the two of us, and the first person we hired together was Mary Lee, who is our shipping manager, who is still with us today. As a small company, we spent most of our time in the coin business at trade shows and working the mail list every month, and spending time learning more and more about the hobby and the collectors that were very important to us. And I actually spent most of my time working on a database system to organize our customer base, and my father spent a lot of time on the phones. Mary ran the office. And even in those early 90s, we worried constantly about the declining customer base of rare coin collectors. It just seemed like a trend that was going the wrong direction. And I certainly wasn't sure if this would be a long-time career for me. But in 1995, of course, one of the big advents that changed commerce for the world was the internet's evolution. And again, just like third-party grading, we didn't see the internet as a sea change for the coin business, but it ultimately became so. And because of my fondness for computer programming, which was something I've spent most of my life doing, I seized on the internet as a very interesting way to bring coins to collectors anywhere in the world without the cost of publishing the mailing list, and also the concern of the amount of time we lost in the process. And I would argue again with my father about this kind of thing, where we should put resources. And I thought, I'd say, Dad, the future is in the internet, this whole internet thing that people really didn't know what to make much of, and of course not that many people were on it, especially coin collectors who tend not to be early adopters of technology. But we worked and registered our domain in 1995, I believe, for davidlawrence.com. So we were one of the first coin dealers to have a full website, and I think we precede just about everybody in the coin business from that standpoint. And I've been working on the website really ever since that day in 1995. I've been modifying it, and to this day we might be in our fourth or fifth full iteration of that original website. Unfortunately for the company, 1996 was a big year of change for us, because my father was diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, and that changed the course of our company in another direction, because while he was a numismatic researcher, I was more of a numismatic computer programmer. I was somebody who really enjoyed bringing technology to an industry where we didn't see much technology. Most coin dealers were very old-fashioned, and my father, of course, loved being on the phone, writing books about coins. And so with his diagnosis, which was an illness that would ultimately take him in 2002, I had to change course to the direction that suited me and my expertise, which was more to the computer, less to the books. And in that evolution, we were able to really build up our sales through the website, and we ultimately did discontinue our monthly price list at some period of time, because it not only was the cost too high, most of the times people would call us and order from a price list like this. The best coins were already sold because the web guys were already picking them off. And of course, we still attended dozens of shows a year, maybe 2-3 dozen shows at a time in a given year, and a lot of the trading became isolated to those two areas, especially for us. And at that point, we had become completely dealing in certified coins. We no longer dealt in raw coins at all, as we called them, which was another area that was, I think, ahead of a lot of other coin dealers at the time. Moving along to about 2004, a major event at David Lawrence Rare Coins was that one of my biggest customers to date, in fact maybe our biggest customer ever, entrusted us to sell his huge coin collection, which we call the Richmond collection, which is about a $24-25 million collection of U.S. coins. At the time, the Richmond collection was the second or third largest single collection ever to be offered at once. And we're talking about Eliasberg and Pittman collections at the time, but believe it or not, the coin market, while 25 million doesn't seem like a lot today, in 2004, we haven't seen huge collections, the likes of which are now more commonplace. And it raised a lot of eyebrows in the coin business when our customer gave us this collection because we'd never had a live auction before, and we've actually never had one since. But at the time, I seized on the opportunity. I promised Brad that I would do the very best for him that I could, and he treated me like a son and said, John, I trust you, and I'm sure you'll do a great job with it. So I produced 3 catalogs, of which every coin was pictured in full color. And at the time, again, something else that hadn't been done. Hardcover, full color coin catalogs, something that we now see regularly, wasn't being done at the time. So I think we had brought some change to the industry with these 3 auctions. The first one was in New York City, and the second 2 in Baltimore, and they were a huge success. I would love to have a lot of these coins back today. They've realized a lot of appreciation even since 2004, but it was a really exciting time for us. And one of the other great benefits of the Richmond collection for us was the software we developed to prepare for the auction and to allow online bidding prior to the live event was the same auction software we use today in our twice weekly internet auctions. Today, though, we are now 13 full-time employees at David Lawrence for our coins, and we enjoy sales over $30 million a year on average, and we're growing at a nice pace. But yet we still maintain a small family set of values in the operation we hold, and that's really the goal for me, is to keep it intimate and enjoy what I do. That's the most important thing. And I appreciate you watching today, and we look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us.